But there were positives. And I'll just go right into the positives. The offense, it was obvious that they were trying to nickel and dime their way down the field to also keep Joe Burrow and that high-powered offense on the sideline. It worked. 10-minute difference in time of possession. Um, so the running game, not so good. Um, just couldn't get anything going. Dylan Sampson, let me tell you, I am thoroughly impressed with Dylan Sampson, and I can't wait for Quinshon Judkins. There is rumors that he will play this Sunday, which is an excellent, excellent news. So, and I've always been a Jerome Ford fan, but he did nothing, not a damn thing yesterday. So, Rocket Sanders also did well. So if Judkins comes back, I would just. They got 2 games exemption from the league for Judkins. I would keep Ford around just in case of injuries, but as soon as that 2 games up, bye bye, Jerome. Um, Joe Flacco was Joe Flacco, master of play action. He hit he made the passes. He looked good. He really looked good. Now, if the wide receivers could just catch the damn ball, things would have been different. I mean, 2 interceptions off of deflections. Come on, that's ridiculous. That's not on Joe Flacco. And even though he said that maybe I have to place the ball better, that's not on you, Joe. That's on your wide receivers. Another rookie, Harold Fannin. I think somebody mentioned that that was a record for a rookie tight end. How many catches he had in an NFL game? That's impressive. That he is impressive. And and if you're wondering why didn't David Njoku get more looks, well, they were doubling David Njoku, and Fannin was open, and that's what you want from your tight ends. So I am not worried about the tight end situation. Offensive line, got to get better at run blocking. Jack Conklin went out. Somebody poked him in the eye. Cornelius Lucas came in. He was better. Dewan Jones, 2 holding penalties. I think he had 3 on him. 3 total penalties. That's ridiculous. You can't do that. You can't. This team right now, the way it's built, is you have no room for error. So offensively, you gotta let Joe Flacco do his job, do what he knows how to do, and don't commit any stupid penalties. Those are both on Dewan Jones, and I'm sure the offensive line coach Bloomgren is going to mention that to him. Let's hope Jack Conklin is feeling better and can see out of his eye, because you could tell that Dewan Jones, I don't know what's going on with him. He's lighter. He should be quicker. He shouldn't have to hold. So we'll see what happens when that comes around. Defense, Myles Garrett admitted they have to play better at the beginning of the game. But man, second half, 7 total yards by Cincinnati. I think Joe Burrow had 113 yards passing. That's incredible. Defense is still giving up too much run. They're running all over um, the Browns defense. They've got to find something to stop. They did it just like last year and the year before. You could start running on them at the beginning of the game, but then they'd shut it down in the second half, and they shut everything down in the second half. Greg Newsome had a good game. I'm not going to hold that pass interference on him. It didn't look like one to me. Denzel Ward was Denzel Ward. Carson Schlesinger played incredibly well. I think he was the highest, according to Pro Football Focus, he had the highest grade of any Browns defender. At the beginning, they were running away from Schlesinger and Delpit and running towards Devin Bush. Although Devin Bush improved as the game went on, but they've got to have a better linebacker next to Carson Schlesinger. Hopefully Diabate will be back next week against Baltimore. Special teams, I'm not going to hold the missed kicks against Bubba Ventrone, but what I will hold against him is some of the returns. There was one nice punt return by Cincinnati that put them in great field position. When you've got a weapon like Corey Bajorquez back there who can pin another team deep, you've got to they got to get better at coverage. I mean, they were average to below average. So that's got to tighten up. Got to get better. Got to get better in special teams. As for the kicker, wow. He missed the extra point to the right. So you would think that before he went out and kicked that field goal that he would have maybe adjusted just like a half a foot. Just go over a little bit more like this way. And, but he knows he screwed up. Everybody knows he screwed up. I mean, the extra point is one thing, but to have an opportunity to take the lead with 2:25 minutes left in the game and your defense has totally dominated Cincinnati high-power offense. I mean, look at the offensive numbers. The Browns were over 300 total yards. Cincinnati was 141 for the game. So defense was definitely playing better in the second half. Other than that, this game has a different feel to it than last year's loss to Dallas. Last year's loss to Dallas, we all kind of shook our heads and said, "Ooh, this might get ugly." And then they had a struggle to beat Jacksonville last year, and then it was kind of like, this just doesn't feel right. This feels right. I mean, they did everything to win this game, and they should have won this game. So I'm not feeling bad about it. I know they've got a tough 5 more games, especially next week. Baltimore's home opener, so this Sunday. So I just have a different feeling. And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about what's coming up with Baltimore. What a hell of a game they played Sunday night against Buffalo. So let's take a quick break right here. All right, we're back, and we're brought to you by Hemisphere Coffee. They shake the hands of the farmer. So Baltimore choked a fourth quarter lead. Nothing new. I think they've done that every year with Harbaugh as their head coach. It happened 2 years ago. Cleveland went in there and they were down 14 points like 3 different times, and the Browns came out of it on a game-winning field goal by Dustin Hopkins, who's no longer the kicker. So yeah, they haven't. They could. I mean, 250 yards passing in the fourth quarter by Josh Allen. My God, I don't know what's going on in their secondary, but I thought it would get stronger after last year when they were just bad in the secondary. But we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, they go into Baltimore. Baltimore's going to celebrate them stealing the Cleveland Browns from Cleveland. Yay for them. I hope the Browns are fired up. I hope Joe Flacco's fired up. I can see where he would be fired up going back to Baltimore. So is it winnable? Early in the season, everything's winnable. If you were to, after checking the score at halftime of Baltimore and Buffalo, I thought, well, Buffalo's getting their butt handed to them. And then I saw the final score when I got up this morning and just went, wow, that's incredible. So I am not gonna be all pessimistic. I am not gonna blame the field goal kicker missing on Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski. I thought Kevin Stefanski called a good game. He basically just, everybody around me was asking why didn't he throw deep, and I'm like, well, let's keep Burrow and that offense on the sidelines, and that made me happy. It looked like Cincinnati was trying to do the same thing, more ball control. But my only complaint is you got to get better against the run. And for God's sakes, can we cover a tight end? I mean, from start to finish, the Cleveland Browns just cannot cover tight ends. I know Gesicki is good, but a guy new to the team, Fant, and he just killed the Browns. So let's hope Quinshon Judkins comes back. As for the kicking situation, I've been told it's very fluid right now. There really isn't anybody out there you can hang your hat on. Greg Joseph, Zane Gonzalez, those are guys the Browns have cut in the past because they couldn't kick at the stadium. So if you want to bring one of those guys back, you might as well bring Hopkins back. But I thought Stefanski called a good game. I thought the defense needs to step up and start earlier. They got to cut down the run. I know a lot of people are complaining about Mason Graham, but he was double teamed the entire game. And I will give a lot of complaints about him. He ended up on the ground a lot. He's going to have to learn to remain on his feet. That would help stop the run. So we'll see. We'll see what goes on. I'm not proclaiming, I know the Browns are something like a 13 to 12 point underdog to Baltimore. That's to be expected. So we'll see what happens. But all in all, like I said, I am not totally down on this team. We all knew that this first 6 games were going to be tough. I was talking to an old friend of mine at the Middle Tennessee Browns backer event yesterday, and he said something that makes sense. If they're 2-4 after those 6 games, I'd be happy. And yeah, I'd be happy too if they were 2-4. So let's just hope they can squeak out 2 wins against one of these teams. Right now, Pittsburgh got lucky. I'm just going to say it. They got lucky. They were playing the Jets. Where was their defense? I mean, Cleveland held the high power, a team that was last year averaged 27 points a game. Cincinnati averaged 27 points a game. Held them to 17. That's a victory. But they win as a team and they lose as a team. Let's hope the kicking situation gets itself worked out. I mean, if he makes both those kicks, they score 20 points. And they win that game. So that's Browns football. Something goes wrong, and it amplifies itself. I was hoping that the second kick, the last field goal would go in. But like I said, all you have to do is kind of move over a little bit, and maybe it would have. But all in all, it's not the end of the world. All in all, it's Cleveland Browns football. So everybody, keep the faith. I know that was winnable, and I know everybody enjoyed themselves. The Middle Tennessee Browns backers had about 180 people. They had to turn people away because there was no place to sit. They have an outdoor patio, and there were like 50, 55 people outside, including me because it was a beautiful day. And they must have had another 140, 150 inside. The place was packed. I love that. Thank you, Browns fans. And thank you, Browns fans at the stadium on Sunday. You could hear it through the TV. You could really hear it. And that's what the Browns need to do, is to keep the fans interested. So let's go to Baltimore and see if we can sneak out of there, see if the Browns can sneak out of there with a win. I'll have more about that in my preview article. And by the way, I don't usually toot my own horn, but in the preview article for Cincinnati, one of the last paragraphs starts with, I hope it doesn't come down to an inexperienced kicker. And unfortunately, that's what happened. So, on to Baltimore. Everybody have a great day. This has been the Cleveland Browns Dog Pound South podcast, part of the Fanatical L's Network, part of the Fans First Sports Network. I'm your host, Steve Gill. And as always, thank you for following, listening, subscribing, and watching. I mean, we're Browns fans just like you. I hate it when they lose. I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning thinking about it. Couldn't go back to sleep. That's just the way I am. But everybody have a great day, and go Browns.